Hi, I'm Jeremy Graham-Clare, and I'm doing a book review around this book, which is Susan Jeffers' Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Now, this book is really, really interesting in the context of we all have fear. It's inherent in our brains to have fear because if we think about it, our Neanderthal brain, the brain that actually took us to survive and get food and shelter and all that wonderful stuff, we inherently have fear. So to understand fear, we need to understand the fact that actually fear is not telling us not to do something. It's actually telling us to make sure we're aware of what's about to happen. So when we think about that, we think about our Neanderthal brain, it's, keep us aware from anything we don't know because it could be dangerous, it could kill us, etc. But we've taken that into the 21st century, and now it's holding us back. And what this book does, it talks about how we can actually get used to fear, how we can enjoy fear, if you will, and overcome fear. And I've got some notes here, and it's basically an anxiety. It's in our mind, and that's all it is. Because we don't have dinosaurs chasing us anymore. We know pretty much most plants, and they're not going to kill us if we eat them because we buy them in the shops. So when we take that understanding, it's a choice. It's a choice to be fearful. And this book talks about that. And it goes through and it discusses in many, many points things that we can do to overcome our fear. And one of the main points that it covers off are things such as affirmations. Now, affirmations are what we say to ourselves when we're by ourselves about ourselves. Now, normally when we think about that, we probably, if we said that out loud to somebody else about somebody else, what we're thinking about ourselves, we probably end up with a black eye. So when we think, well, hang on a second, that's what's happening to me when I don't control it. So if I use affirmations, which are statements of positivity, of intent, every single day, in fact, multiple times a day, then we can start to change what our little voice in our head is saying to us, because that's where the fear is coming from. So when we think about where the fear is coming from, and we have the opportunity to change that, we can do it through affirmations. So I am statements. And as we go through these statements, you want to be putting yourself either in the present or in the future. So if you're not quite where you want to be, so I am confident, let's say, or I am becoming more confident. Most people, for example, say they're bad at maths. You're not bad at maths. Everyone can add up. And that's the main point of maths, right? So if we take that, I'm becoming better at maths. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're becoming better, then your confidence, your strength in that area will come as well. So reading this book, as we go through, it talks about how we can engage with a fear, how we can actually take it and put it somewhere else and use it to our advantage. Because if you're becoming fearful, it means you haven't got a plan, or your plan isn't believable or strong enough, or you don't know how to achieve that. So you need to skill up. Maybe you need to educate. Maybe you need to do things that will actually support how you can achieve what you're fearful of. It also really helps in terms of working with other people, that you don't transpose your fears or have their fears put onto you, because you have an understanding about yourself, about your capabilities, about where you can go. So when we think about that, she talks about the 5 truths. And the first one is that fear will never go away if you don't keep growing. So if you constantly educate yourself, being in this membership area is a great example of that. If you learn how to achieve things that you didn't know were possible, then the fear can be relieved. The second point is the only way to stop fear is to go and do it. There's another book which talks about that as well. But here it's a case of, if we were fearful, we would never walk. Why would you stand up? Why would you try and stand up when you know you're going to fall over at least 1,000 times? Why would you do that? Because children don't have that inherent fear. It's something that's learned. So as we go through, the only way to stop it is to do it. We think about, how can I actually do that? What do I need to do to actually get that a little bit? Maybe it's picking up the phone. Maybe, big one is always cold calling. So just make one call. But don't make one call not knowing what you're going to say. Be prepared, plan. So have a script or a checklist. Having these things in place will help you get forward rather than stay in your fear factor, which is very debilitating. The third area is do what it is for you. So having that purpose to overcome the fear for the reasons, very much like motivation. What's the goal at the end? I want to jump out of parachute because I want to feel success at the end, that I can do anything. What is it for you that actually is going to achieve at the back of the fear element? The fourth area is you're not alone in this fear. Everybody else does too. It's not just you. It's not something that is you alone. Everybody has fears, and it's how we overcome those using the techniques I've already spoken about. And the fifth area is around making fear a passenger. Know that it's there, and that's okay. Because actually, when fear appears, it means I need to plan better. I need to have more understanding. I need to have better education. I need to improve my skills. So be aware of it. Let it ride along with you, but you're in control. You're driving, they're just the passenger. So there's loads more to this book. I just wanted to give you a brief synopsis where we're at. And if you have any fear in your life, read this book and I can guarantee you that it will make a difference. Enjoy.